You're listening to the Out of Bounds podcast, powered by Welcome Home Beef. For the highest quality fillets, ribeyes, well, any cut of beef, you want to try Welcome Home Beef. Find at a grocery store near you.
WRKS Pickens Jackson.
You ready?
Let's go!
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Now live in the Bank Plus studio, where college football meets the all lifestyle.
Ladies and gentlemen, this is
The Out of Bounds Show with Bo Bounds, streaming around the world live at the Out of Bounds radio app and on your radio at ESPN 105.9.
Where are you?
The Zone.
The Out of Bounds Show is brought to you by the new Eye Care Professionals Clinic, Belmead, Flowood, blade-free LASIK and cataract surgery. Eye Care Professionals. Eye Care Professionals. Dr. Kirk Jeffries. Good morning. Welcome in. Hope you're doing well. Thanks for making us your sports and entertainment show of choice. 105.9 The Zone, WRKS, ESPN. Streaming live on the Out of Bounds radio app. Would love to hear from you. What's the game this weekend that you're locked into? I mean, for me, it's pretty simple. It's Georgia-Clemson. You may have another one. We get a college football playoff game, and I guess you could argue the biggest game of September. I mean, we'll see what Bama at Florida gives us in a couple of weeks, but this very well could be the biggest game in college football in the month of September in Georgia and Clemson. Really good teams, loaded with NFL talent. You've got a two-time national championship coach on one side. You've got another coach who has, I don't know how many rings under Saban, but I mean, Kirby Smart won several titles as the defensive coordinator at the University of Alabama. So combined, they have coached in a ton of national championship games. And Kirby led Georgia to the national championship game as the head coach, which is impressive. I know I like to give Kirby Smart a little bit of a hard time, but he did lead Georgia in year 2, I think it was, to the title game against Bama, and Tua, hooked up with Devontae Smith and crushed the Georgia Bulldogs' hearts. But Georgia Clemson tomorrow night, yes, I'm loving that. I can't wait to see what happens with LSU and UCLA. But here at home, how much better is Mike Leach's offense? The Pirate was out and about last night, and you can tell he likes to be out and about. As quirky as he is a social, he likes the social aspect. He has never coached at a place. See, Lane has. Mike has never coached at a place that is as gung-ho as Mississippi State. Texas Tech likes it. Washington State kind of likes it. But Mississippi State gets into it. I mean, we've talked about the Rebs and the Dogs. They have basically taken it up notch after notch after notch over the years as far as commitment, getting into it, fans, tickets, merch, all the things we've talked about. A lot of that is the partnership with the Southeastern Conference and the SEC network rolling out in 2014. But Mike Leach was he did his show last night on Main Street at Starkville Partnership. They then whisked him over to the amphitheater on campus. Students got to partake in that, which they should. Absolutely. They should be going to games and concerts and out to restaurants and bars and everything they want to do, and should have never stopped. But Mike Leach enjoys it. I mean, and he's we've had the opportunity to have several conversations with him, and he is quirky, but he's funny and he's very inquisitive. So if you're going to run into him, you better be ready for him to ask you questions. Most coaches don't do that. They're used to people coming up, kind of kissing their blank, and driving the conversation. Better be ready, because Mike will ask you, very simple question. Where you're from, what do you do, what makes you tick, that type of deal. But I think Leach walked out on that stage last night and was like, whoa, a lot of people here.
He didn't get that.
Students.
He didn't get that last year.
Didn't get any of that. That's right. Didn't get any of that. And so that was cool. And the Lane Train will do the same thing when they have a home game next week. You know, they've got a different deal. They're playing on a neutral site. They're flying out, well, I guess on Sunday, but maybe on Saturday, but I would think on Sunday. Staying in Atlanta overnight and then playing Monday night against Louisville. But Mike Leach was the cat around town, and the Pirate was making his stops. You're already hearing about Leach. Again, his first year, as Blake just referenced, people weren't moving around quite as much. And he's a guy who likes to literally walk around town randomly, and he'll just talk to you. I mean, you can be walking out of a bookstore downtown. Yeah, he'll get to know you. You can be walking to your CPA office downtown, and he'll talk to you. So he's different than so many coaches that are not approachable. And he'll be, a man about town. He likes to be, I'm not saying he likes to be out, he just likes to be in the mix.
It's so interesting, too, because that's so anti-SEC football coach. Like, that's not how we consume our SEC football. Like, Jimbo Fisher doesn't walk around College Station.
I don't think so.
Nick Saban doesn't walk around.
I know he doesn't. He doesn't.
Right?
And he could, that would be so overboard.
Well, maybe that's not a great, but Kiffin's not walking around Oxford looking to hang out and meet people. SEC coaches are
he
more
is single. Well, that's debatable. He might not be single.
That's a whole different. That's nightlife. That's a little different.
Lane, I think what's interesting about Kiffin is he wasn't allowed to do any media under Saban unless they were in the college football playoff. Then he went down to Florida Atlantic, which is one of the prettiest places in the world, but nobody cared. And now he's in Oxford, in a town who, like Starkville, loves it. So I think he's out and about a little bit more, but not near as much of a conversationalist as the Pirate.
Yeah.
And so Leach, Leach will. I wonder if Leach stays at the hotel tonight. I doubt it. Moorhead and Mullen did. Maybe he does. Be an interesting. Of course, the hotel that he stays at is about a mile from his house.
He'll just walk back to sleep there and then walk there in the morning.
That they spend the night before the game. The Pirate, how much better will his offense be? Will Rogers, Jaden Walley, Marks, Johnson. There's just so many. Well, really, we're how much better will the offensive line be? Because that's what's going to dictate Will's success and the others' success.
100%.
What is Charles Cross? Is he going to step up and play at a high level? And then you've got Sharp at center and Dollar Bill and Lashley and some others. Cole Smith, it looks like, will be backing up guard to guard. Blake, it'll be interesting to see if they can keep Will pretty clean in the pocket tomorrow against a team that you have superior talent.
Yeah, I think we can get hot and bothered about who catches passes and what skill players or whatever, but like you said, at the end of the day, if you can't stop water, it ain't nothing else you can do because that stuff's going to roll downhill.
Yeah.
And we saw that just accrue and accrue and accrue over the course of the season.
They it is a hodgepodge of kind of players that really weren't recruited to run or to be a part of the air raid. However, the O-line coach Mason Miller's had another year. They got all the reps that you need to get. Unless I'm missing something, most everybody's healthy. You need them to be a lot better.
Yeah, and this is an important game because if you come out and you don't perform well, you're walking into a serious situation against NC State in week 2. So you need to work the kinks out pretty quickly this Saturday.
Yeah, no doubt. The NC State looked good, man.
Real good.
Bama fan on the Mississippi Ag text line asked, do all Mississippi State coaches live in the same subdivision? No, they don't. And Leach kind of lives out in his own little. He's got his own little compound. He's not in a subdivision. Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, brought to you by the Charbroiled Oysters at Drago's. Back in a sec.
You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show podcast, powered by Tito's Handmade Vodka. Try a Tito's Handmade Margarita today.
Lee Sterling has Ole Miss blowing out Louisville. That's really the bet over the two games, I would think. The safest. I mean, none of your bets are safe because we just don't know for the most part. But Lee Sterling, ParamountSports.com, he's got Ole Miss absolutely running Louisville out of the stadium Monday night. There you go. Line's 9.5 points. Golden Moon Casino Sportsbook will take your bet. Blake, is that the safest play out of the two games?
I think out of all the games we did on Show Me the Money.
No, just the two in state.
Oh, definitely. That's not even up for debate.
Yeah.
I think it is. I think the only other game, even in the whole course of what we've talked about, that I feel even remotely confident in is Texas beating ULL by 9.
Oh.
I think the whole Sarkisian new quarterback, ULL's returning 20 starters. It don't matter. Texas is Texas. Too much talent.
Oh.
Sarkisian's too good. But yeah, I like Ole Miss. State minus 23 scares the hootenanny out of me. I don't want any part of it.
Yeah.
I took La Tech and Show Me the Money.
Okay.
They're going to cover. And I hope I'm wrong. I mean, I'd love 56-3. Let's just go ahead and knock it out, right? But I don't know that I believe that.
Right.
If this was Leach's third year, Will Rogers' third year, I'm 100% State by 30. But I don't know that I believe that that's how that's going to happen. I mean, when you talk about a team that has, I don't know, potential suspensions, an offensive line that's been less than average. I mean, it's like we talk about with UCLA. You got to show me before I'm buying stock, right?
I think they score over 40 tomorrow afternoon / evening.
So if let's say they score 45,
okay,
you're 23. Are you giving up 20 plus points to La Tech?
I don't think so.
Probably not.
Yeah.
So I'm with you. That's the question. That's my concern is the offense, like we talked about. It doesn't have to be well oiled, but it has to be better than it was last year.
Right.
Can it score? Can the offense, with maybe some help from a pick six or a kick return or something like that, can they score 45 points? Because if they score 45 points, then yeah, they cover it.
They're going to rush for over 200 yards and throw everybody off.
Maybe so.
Out of Bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Good show today. Having fun going into Labor Day weekend. Had a blast yesterday at Live Oaks Golf Club. Want to thank Kyle Morris and the team there. Their college football classic tournament, 2-man scramble, was awesome. Oh, I want to know who won. I will have to ask JB. He's on his way up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Who won the cash money?
I got to give a shout out to Ready Teddy, who dropped off some incredible Cajun peanuts.
That guy is hilarious. He was already funny on the text line.
Yes.
And that dude's he's a trip.
He is a trip. He dropped off
True Maroon. He and True Maroon
yes.
are really funny.
Yes, and Nick. I got to give Nick credit.
Nick's funny.
Nick's been dropping one-liners, some heat. But yeah, Ready Teddy dropped off some Cajun boiled peanuts for us yesterday. Those peanuts were amazing.
Yeah, I had some last night.
Oh my gosh, spicy, make your mouth water.
They got a little kick in them.
Oh, I drank like 3 Modelo's because
you go.
You got to when they're that spicy. You got to.
Speaking of, let's switch gears. Didn't you cook a pork chop or some pork chops from breezyoaksranch.com?
I did. I went fancy last night. I went pork 3 ways from Breezy Oaks Ranch. Okay. So 2 bone-in pork chops. They looked like ribeyes. They were that red. I mean, they were probably 1.5 to 2 inches thick. Just fatties. So I did 2 pork chops bone-in from Breezy Oaks Ranch on the stove on the cast iron. I did some pork sausage from Breezy Oaks Ranch, which was fantastic. It's so rich. It's got this flavor that it's hard to explain. It's not dry or like kind of just generic sausage.
It's called awesomeness.
Oh, it's got this richness to it, and it was so juicy inside. It was incredible. And so I did sausage, and then I did some Breezy Oaks Ranch bacon in my Brussels sprouts.
Now that,
yeah,
that's bringing it.
So I was thanking my parents have been helping me out with my dog had surgery. Long story, whatever. But I was doing a thank you meal. I was saying thank you for helping me out, and so I cooked up the pork chops. We sliced them up, cooked up the sausage, sliced it up, did the Brussels sprouts, did some potatoes with it. It was a feast.
BreezyOaksRanch.com will deliver to your door.
Ship it
everything
straight to
that
you.
Blake just described.
Plus Wagyu. We didn't get into the Wagyu beef last night, but they do have that. I still got some fillets and ribeyes at the house.
And this is Mississippi Farms. It's
right.
Canton and Vaden. BreezyOaksRanch.com. Heritage pork, Wagyu beef, bacon, sausage, as Blake mentioned, all at BreezyOaksRanch.com.
Yeah, and if you're interested in seeing how...
And who bought you all that food, Blake?
Mackie. Thanks, Mackie Simpson at Breezy Oaks Ranch. Oh, wait, no. It's Bo Bounce.
Yeah.
Just kidding. No, if you're interested in checking it out, you can check it out on Twitter at BAScott2010. You can go see like the pictures, the videos,
your
all that
video
stuff.
was good. You went cast iron with the pork chops.
Get that nice
And you had a really good video,
Yeah.
and I shared it on Facebook and so on. And so go to Blake's Twitter account, or I think I retweeted it.
You did. Yeah.
And you can find it. John Brazier in the house. Brazier, do you remember who won yesterday, number one? Who? Well, here, come up here and join me for a second. We've got 3 minutes. Can you turn on his
I got you.
mic?
I don't know if the people want that, but we'll do it.
Yeah, they do. They want. All right, John Brazier with Live Oaks Golf Club. There were several teams that walked away with some serious money yesterday.
Oh, yeah. Wasn't quite the 700 that we had planned on, but we didn't have the, full 60 teams.
Okay.
So winners got $525 apiece.
Nice.
Oh, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So, it covered the entry fee and all that kind of stuff. And the people were excited about the swag that we gave away.
Good.
The Tito's golf bag was a huge hit, along with the other great things that were donated.
Yeah.
I think people had a great time. There was a 3-way tie.
Really?
For the championship flight, which was also dubbed the SEC.
Smart.
And that was John Fountain, Mitch Saxton, Chase and Alan Lunsford, and Wally Cummings.
No way.
And
Wally
his
was
part.
up there?
There were
Nice.
3 of them, and scorecard playoff. Excuse me, I'm sorry.
No.
Scorecard playoff, Fountain and Saxton, who Saxton owned ribeyes in Yazoo City. If you've ever been there, it is a really cool place. You would enjoy it.
Okay.
It'll be your kind of. And then
Is it kind of like Bentonia Bugs? Isn't that
No.
what it's called, Blake?
Yes, that is a place.
No, it's a little bit up more
Okay.
upscale than
Okay.
Bentonia Bugs.
Okay.
But the it's just a great place to sit and have a meal and watch.
Awesome. So they won.
They won, and then Chase and Alan Lunsford got second place.
Okay.
So the other ones, your man Uncle Buck.
No way.
He won his flight.
Are you serious?
Yeah, he and Brent Cofield, who's the principal at Rosa Scott.
Okay.
They shot 8 under, which was 63.
Ooh. Hello.
So Buck can play some golf.
Oh yeah, and if he gets on a roll,
Yeah.
he's
I got you.
tough.
He got hot at some point.
Oh yeah, and they didn't really play as good on the front side as they did on the back side, which is the front side at Live Oaks is the most difficult.
I got you. Okay. So it was a great
Dude,
party
the
and tournament.
turnout. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I didn't get home till 9 o'clock last night.
Good grief! You were there when I got there yesterday morning.
Yeah, clocked in at 6:30 and left at 9. Yeah.
I bet you didn't have problem sleeping. Yeah.
But then I had to get up and get back going because we got stuff to do. Got the big wedding this weekend at the Reed
Oh,
House.
Sunday. Yeah, you got the wedding.
He's got
Yeah.
a plan for my fantasy draft Sunday is
That's
actually
right.
what he means.
Yeah. Blake Scott. Are you bringing some of that Wagyu?
I'll make it
You
happen.
bring it, we'll get it cooked.
Let's
for you.
talk about this.
We'll make it happen.
The ribs that Buck did. I don't know if you had one. I got
No,
about
I
30
had-
seconds. They were unbelievable.
Yeah, I had Snoop, our cook, put me something after they were warmed up. He put them on the flat top for a little bit with some grilled onions.
That's a good call.
They were amazing. I had one, and I sat my plate now because I was sitting in on Brooks' show yesterday, and I looked up and they were gone.
Oh, man. Man, oh, man.
But
Well,
yeah, I got some more. The food yesterday
was unbelievable.
Yeah, top notch, that pulled pork, and then yesterday afternoon, the shish kebabs.
I
that we
miss
did.
those.
Oh my!
but I will get those at some point.
Yeah.
Good to see you, brother.
You too, pal. Thank you so much.
John
Appreciate
Brazier.
all you'll do.
Live Oaks Golf Club back in a second with the SEC Insider Hit. 24 straight minutes as we wrap up the week, and then we're getting out of here till Tuesday.
You're listening to the Out of Bounds Show podcast powered by the Sportsbook at Golden Moon Casino at the Pearl River Resort. To get in on the action, visit Golden Moon Casino today.
Everybody, listen carefully.
You're listening to the SEC Insider Hit on the Boat Bound Show.
Fueled by Fleetway Market.
Fuel up your car and cooler at Fleetway this football season.
Let's go.
All right, game day is brought to you by Boar's Head. Premium meats. Premium meats. For pizzas, for nachos, charcuterie boards, game day platters. Boar's Head. Boar's Head. Corner Market. You can find the best selection of Boar's Head at Corner Market. Bellhaven, Fondren, Northside Drive. Welcome in. Good morning. Boar's Head. It's all about game day, compromise elsewhere. And I tell you what, grabbing their premium meats and throwing that all over a pizza, a little game day pizza, or 2 or 3, is the way to go. Grab those Boar's Head premium meats and shake them all over some chips and make some nachos. Boar's Head, compromise elsewhere, Corner Market in Fondren, Bellhaven, and Northside Drive. There's over 20 locations in the state of Mississippi. Corner Market, the official grocery store of the Out of Bounds Show. 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Appreciate John Brazier saving me, bringing the remote equipment to me with Live Oaks Golf Club. After I forgot it yesterday, I started running my mouth and, smashing some of Buck's ribs, and I totally forgot that I left my backpack there. So, and several $1,000s worth of equipment. But there you go. It's all good now. The show is brought to you by Live Oaks Golf Club. This is a big weekend for golf. Before you hit Live Oaks, go to Edwin Watts Golf Shop. Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road. Make sure you got the putter, irons, drivers, golf balls, and so on that you need. Edwin Watts Golf Shop on County Line Road before you hit Live Oaks Golf Club or Dancing Rabbit. Blake Mania with me. I'm your host, Bo Bounds. There is a really good article on Jim Harbaugh. I know we usually stay in the SEC, and I'm going to do one more little rundown of Mississippi State and Ole Miss before we get out of here. But we've got 23 straight minutes of no advertising here, and that's what we do at 7:30, 8:30, and 9:30 every single show. I want to jump into this article on Jim Harbaugh. He's entering year 7 at Michigan, and he's 49-22. Now, that's pretty damn good, okay? And that's really who Michigan is. We were all brainwashed in many, many ways by the East and West Coast media for years, but especially coming out of World War II as things started to boom. And you were told for decades that Michigan was a powerhouse when they are not. And so Harbaugh, after kind of going through no man's land for years, they're trying to find their way at least close to back to the top with Ohio State. But, I mean, they'd love to get in the college football playoff. They haven't sniffed it. So you're not a blue blood. You haven't won a national title since 97, in which you split, in which pre-98, really national titles don't count. Because until we got the BCS and then eventually the college football playoff, it was a bunch of nonsense of media guys who didn't watch games, who only attended one game over the weekend, and didn't really know what was going on coast to coast, right? BYU beat Michigan in 1984 in the Holiday Bowl to win the national title. I know, that doesn't make sense. So anyway, my point is this. Harbaugh's now going into year 7, and they have this youth movement in Michigan. So, like, everybody's 40 and under on the staff. Harbaugh's gone from having a bunch of, I don't want to say older guys, but guys that are older than that. Mm-hmm. And he has flipped it and basically gotten rid of everybody on the staff, the last 5 or 6 years, except his son, of course, who's the tight ends coach. But he has hired a bunch of former players, and I always think that's real slippery slope.
Yep.
I don't think former players need to hire coaches. They all got hot and bothered for the South Carolina job and leaned on Ray Tanner, and you got Shane Beamer, who's a nice guy, but has no business being the head coach at South Carolina. So what's going to happen at Michigan? And I think the bottom line is what Blake and I were talking about earlier and what Bruce Feldman hit on, and who's with theathletic.com. But this article on Michigan on theathletic.com is unbelievable by Austin Meek and Nick Baumgardner. And basically, Bruce Feldman said on a radio show recently, he just said they've missed at quarterback.
Yep.
They've got a lot of the right pieces, but to be dynamic in college football today, you have to hit the quarterback position. And you don't have to be great, but you need a playmaker there. And, what do they have? I mean, I think it's a great question. Shea Patterson went through there, won some games. One year, didn't they go 10-2? But there was no sizzle on the offense. They lose Don Brown, who is considered a great defensive coordinator. He's now at Arizona. Dave Bartu said, watch that Arizona game this weekend. That's one of his bets of the weekend. You can go back and listen to that if you missed it on Apple Podcasts. Search the Out of Bounds Show. But Harbaugh is a name that I can talk about outside of the SEC. A lot of these teams you don't care about, and I get it. But Harbaugh is a big name. He's been in the NFL. He was a quarterback at Michigan under Bo Schembechler. He's now going into year 7, and they're 49-22. That's probably about as good as it gets.
In 5 complete seasons, so we'll take out 2020's COVID weird schedule. In 5 complete seasons prior to 2020, he won 10 games 3 times.
Yeah.
Isn't that your ceiling at Michigan?
Yeah.
Let me ask you this question, and this is a philosophical question, but is it harder to hit at quarterback when you are running the offense that Harbaugh, Fisher, et cetera, those guys run?
Maybe. I don't know. I don't think it should be. This day and age, as many as playmakers that you have at the high school level, I don't think it should be that hard.
Well, maybe what I'm saying is maybe it's not so much that he's just missing at quarterback. It's that when he hits a good quarterback, he asks him to do things that you shouldn't be asking a college quarterback to do.
That could be it. But the bottom line is they're 49-22, and that's really who they are. But if you read the quotes from their new athletic director, Ward Manuel, who, by the way, was Jim Harbaugh's teammate at Michigan.
And also just restructured his contract to pay him less?
He's like, we have to win here. Well, you are winning. That's who you are. But see, I don't think Ward Manuel understands that.
No, of course not, because he's from an era in which they always won 10 games.
Right, but they still weren't a national championship program because they would go out to the Rose Bowl
and get slaughtered
and get embarrassed.
Yeah,
time and time again during that time.
No, I'm 1,000%.
So it is fat. They think they're a championship program. They have won in the last 50 years, but they haven't been like some other teams that have gone, that either go back and play for it or continue to swim right there in that national championship conversation. So we'll see what Michigan does this year. As Blake said, Harbaugh restructured his contract and went from about $8 million to $4 million a year, and the buyout's only $4 million, and it goes down $1 million a year every year. Now, if he wins, they may redo that again. He's made a fortune at Michigan, so that's what it looks like, and he's hired a bunch of former players.
That's scary.
I think hiring 1 or 2. I think having 7, no. I don't think former players need to get near hires or, things like that. But anyway.
It's so interesting. You keep looking at it, and the general person would say Jim Harbaugh has not been successful at Michigan. But then you go, wait.
He has been.
Exactly. Because in the 5 seasons, again, I'm going to take out COVID. In the 5 seasons where they played real football, he has 3 10-win seasons. In the 15 years before that, Michigan has 4 10-win seasons.
Okay.
You just have to remember that the goalpost isn't what you think it is if you're Michigan.
Right.
That's the problem, and that's the hardest thing to do as a fan is recalibrate our expectations.
But we don't want to do that.
That's what I'm saying. It's impossible.
Right.
It's impossible for
a
fans.
sports fan. I'm as guilty, too.
No doubt.
I mean, you just nailed it. Sports fans don't recalibrate their expectations.
The Patriots expect to be back in the playoffs this year. I promise you.
Yeah.
Patriots fans, they expect to be back in the playoffs.
I mean, MRA football's lost a couple of games, okay? But because Herbert Davis went like 39-3 prior to this season, not everybody, a lot of people are like, what's going on? I'm like, they played awesome teams, and they're a work in progress.
I'll give you a better one that's more Michigan-esque, Jackson Prep.
No, that's it. That's a better one.
Because their expectations are they should be beating everybody, and the problem is you just aren't what you were 10 years ago. You're not.
Or even 4 with Jerrion Ely.
Yeah. Well, and that might have been a little bit of smoke and mirrors because
it
you
was
had
actually,
Jerrion
they
Ely.
would not have won championships had they not landed you could argue, the biggest high school recruit in the state of Mississippi.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
I mean, Cody,
the championship run would have ended even prior to
Correct.
Herbert Davis and
Correct.
Philip Short and MRA doing what they did. That's a good point.
I'd argue their quote-unquote dominance ended in 2010 or 11.
I don't know if it was that early, but I get what you're saying because Jerrion Ely was the Reggie Bush of MAIS, and that is unbelievable right there.
Yeah.
So they definitely would not have won it without him.
And now you're coming to terms with that as a fan.
Oh, they're not coming to terms.
Well, let me rephrase. It's hitting you in the face. You have to figure out how to come to terms
Right.
with it exactly.
Right. Now, I don't know if they'll stay down. Again, they're always going to have the advantage of enrollment and numbers and things like that. So I don't know. And who knows? Prep could win it late this year.
Yeah.
But that's a good point bringing up Prep. That is.
I do what I can.
No, they've won so much for so long.
You expect
and it really
them-
hasn't been that difficult.
It's been dominance.
They have such an advantage.
Exactly.
For decades. You know, when you got 130, 150 plus kids in a class and you're going against, when I was at MRA, we had 41 people in my class.
There's no
I didn't
chance.
ever think of it like that,
Mm-mm.
okay?
Mm-mm.
But we had 41 people.
Yeah. Your talent pool was at best a third of what Prep is picking out of, right? And so that's
Pillow Academy could graduate 36, Blake,
Yep.
and then
Yep.
Greenville, Washington could graduate 37.
Heritage wasn't doing anything.
Yeah,
Hartfield wasn't even a thing. You know what I mean?
and Hartfield's coming.
And exactly. And
They're
so
coming.
You look at high
Numbers
school,
and money.
You look at high school football in the state, and it's just like college football. You're seeing the talent gap eradicated by teams who are going to run innovative offenses. MRA's now leveraged their innovation to creating a less of a talent gap.
That's true.
They've Clemsoned
Herbert
it.
knew he had to do something different.
Well, they've Clemsoned it.
No doubt.
They were far behind talent wise, but by creating fun, innovative offense, they were able to increase their talent. And by increasing their talent with the innovative offense, now they're a better program than Prep over the last 5 years.
And kids want to play there because Herbert's throwing it all over the yard.
And so you see that at other schools too, who are saying, "Hey, MRA's doing it, we can do that too." I mean, it's the same thing in college football. This is not hard to follow the pattern, right? If you're looking at it, it's pretty cut and dry.
Hugh Freeze could win bigger at Michigan because of the offense he runs.
I said that about he could win at Nebraska. He could win at Minnesota, a team we saw last night with a talent gap. He could win at Michigan. He could win anywhere there's a talent gap. He did it at Ole Miss.
Yeah.
It's not hard to see.
He's doing it at Liberty.
No doubt. Absolutely no doubt.
Yeah. So the great equalizer is spreading it out.
Explosive offense.
And explosive offensive plays.
Yep.
In the game. The great equalizer is the 3-point line, and then the great equalizer is dealing on the mound as a starting pitcher.
Yeah.
Okay. Out of bounds, 105.9 The Zone, ESPN. Brought to you by Chris Corley, Angel Oak Home Loans. He'll shop the best rates for you. Chris Corley, Angel Oak Home Loans. Also presented by Two Brothers, Smoked Meats. Game day in Starkville. Oh, Two Brothers will be rocking by about 4:30 this afternoon. Pretty day.
12:30.
Yeah, well, that too. You can smash some wings, street tacos, delicious drinks, all kinds of outside areas, balconies, and so on. There'll be plenty of talent all around there. And Two Brothers Smoked Meats in the historic Cotton District. And stop by there this weekend. Some of y'all are going to make it a long weekend in Starkville because you don't have to get back on Monday because of Labor Day. We will not be here Labor Day. Well, we may be here, but we won't be here at 7 a.m. We'll be here on Tuesday.
Yes, sir.
That'll be kind of our last day before we go pretty hard till Christmas. And so we're looking forward to really, really hugging that day, right? And I can't wait to see what your Mississippi State Bulldogs and Ole Miss Rebels do over the weekend. There's so much excitement. I mean, Leach's thing's going to work. It's a matter of when. Kiffin's deal is already working on offense. The question is, can they get a little bit better on defense? We've got some exciting players on both rosters. And you're expecting those guys to be a little bit better this year, right? They're 9 months older, more weight room time, more reps, more hours, all that kind of stuff. Georgia Clemson could be dynamite. It could give us a lot of sizzle tomorrow night, right? It could make your New York strip or ribeye even better because those two teams and the rosters are just loaded with NFL talent. Loaded with NFL talent. Bama, will they dominate Miami or will it be interesting for a while? Can't wait. LSU with 2 new coordinators again. Did they go out there and just run UCLA out? Or is it a close game? See, I think it only goes one. I don't think UCLA,
no chance.
So I think it either goes LSU eventually just takes it to them, or it's a close game.
And either team could win.
Right.
Close game, yeah.
Yeah. And then I don't know. I can't imagine. I think Ole Miss and Louisville, I think that could get out of control early, actually. I really do. So we'll see if Satterfield can come up with some kind of magic to keep it close against Ole Miss. I don't see it, but he is one hell of a coach. So maybe he can make it interesting for a little while. And then some of y'all don't care about this game, but Wisconsin and Penn State could be pretty cool.
Should be good.
Yeah.
Their over-under's 49.5.
Really?
That's so low.
That's so sad.
That's so low.
Holy.
Oh, my gosh.
The Big Ten, can they ever be like fun and cool and hip and exciting to watch?
Someone not Ohio State has to hire a
Freeze.
Hugh Freeze.
Yes.
It doesn't have to be Freeze,
Right.
but someone like that.
You're exactly right.
You need a little school, I say little in air quotes, but a non-Ohio State school to show that they can beat teams that are better than them with that type of offense, and finally Big Ten teams will start running that type of offense.
Okay.
I think
I like
that's the
where
only
you're
way.
going. If you get a Freeze type guy,
Minnesota,
up there,
Purdue.
Yeah, even PJ's not
Yeah.
opening it up, even though he's a young coach. Now, he may, I guess, if he gets the right personnel. What's the other Big Ten game?
That's the only one that matters, I think, Penn State, Wisconsin.
Oh, okay.
Because we
I
saw
thought Indiana was playing somebody.
Indiana and Iowa play each other. That's right.
Okay.
That's a top 20
Y'all
matchup.
aren't going to watch
Nobody
that,
cares about
but
that.
yeah. All right, go
Let me
ahead.
ask you this question. We have not talked about this game, but it is important for one reason. We talk about the power structure in different conferences, and we always say Clemson. You talk about a downhill road. Outside of USC in the Pac-12, there may not be an easier road to the playoffs than Clemson has in the ACC. When we talk about who could challenge them, could Miami get it figured out? I don't know. This Bama game certainly isn't going to help. Florida State, they should be challenging Clemson every other year, every 3 years for a title in the ACC. Norvell, walking into year 3 now? Year 2? I have to look at that. They are a 7-point underdog to Notre Dame.
Okay.
OddsShark predicts that score to be 42-17. If Mike Norvell gets the doors beat off him by Notre Dame to start the season, what's that make you feel about that Florida State program?
Well, we've said this before. You got to be real careful. Even though you've been a power for a while, once you lose it, you could lose it for a long time. Southern Cal's lost it for 15 years. Texas, 10+. Tennessee wasn't a powerhouse, but they were good. They've lost it for 15 years. Nebraska's lost it for 10 to 12+ years. Michigan's good, but, again, doesn't really have more than one pitch. That's a good point. Florida State, you can kind of be out in the abyss for.
You don't need to open your season.
Now, if they would hire a Hugh Freeze, he could go to Florida State and win big, literally overnight.
Yeah. No, absolutely. Florida State and Miami are programs that are built to dominate with the right offense.
Yes.
100%.
Yeah.
Because
they're in an easy conference
Yeah.
or a weak conference, and if they could get it going, Miami has man, if you dropped Freeze at Miami or Florida State,
Either one.
it would get serious.
Either
quick.
one. Yeah, absolutely. But I just look at that, and I was looking at that
Jeff
game.
Levy, Kendall Browse, those are some young, hot offensive coordinators that may find their way in. Oh, Billy Napier. Like, if Napier I don't know what's going on there, but if he decides he wants to go to Florida State or Miami and that one of those jobs open up, Napier, like Freeze, could be dangerous and scary. For our listeners, Napier is the La Lafayette head coach.
Takes on Texas, which is an interesting game because Texas is only favored by 8.5, and they're starting a quarterback, Hudson Card, who's never taken a snap. So,
his name's Hudson Card?
Yeah, pretty sure. Let me pull it up. They had a battle. The guy that was there behind Ellinger lost the battle.
That guy is leading the Wolf game at the Austin, Texas Country Club today. Oh, yeah. Hudson Card?
Yeah, Hudson Card's their start. See, they thought it was going to be
Love it.
Casey Thompson was the backup.
It's not as good as Stetson Bennett the fourth, but it's good.
No. Casey Thompson was the backup last year to Ellinger. They thought he would win the job. He did not. Hudson Card won the job.
Okay.
As a freshman. They think he's spectacular.
So Hudson Card leads the poker game at the 19th hole at the Austin, Texas Country Club. Stetson Bennett the fourth may be the guy that throws a fit at Sunday church at the country club when you run out of ranch dressing. But Hudson Card he may even be the bookie.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
At the country club.
Hudson Card runs the poker game. Stetson Bennett the fourth is the guy who gives his money to Hudson Card.
Absolutely. and some of that money's pumped through a trust fund that his grandmother left him.
All of that money comes from the trust fund.
And he's kind of a half-assed attorney.
Yeah.
Right?
This is year 2 for Norvell, so I guess I can't technically count. I mean, last year, COVID, whatever, but you can't get beat by 30.
Got it.
To Notre Dame.
I'm with you.
I
think and Brian Kelly has done an amazing job recruiting in the line of scrimmage at Notre Dame,
which is hard to do because who wants to go play in South Bend? No one.
They are awesome on the offensive line. They found enough on. I mean, he's done a really good job. If they blow them out, holy smokes! Interesting there. Notre Dame for our listeners. Notre Dame and Florida State is on Sunday.
Yeah, Sunday
Ole Miss,
night.
Louisville Monday. So here's where you got primetime. You have Georgia Clemson in primetime tomorrow night. You have Notre Dame and Florida State on Sunday. And then you have Ole Miss and Louisville Monday night primetime.
And tonight we have North Carolina, Virginia Tech primetime, which I get that that's not a name marquee matchup, but I think it will be a very competitive, entertaining game.
I hope so. I hope you're right.
It's only a 5.5-point line in favor of North Carolina.
Fuente followed a legend, and that's just never good. Frank Beamer is an absolutely unbelievable football coach. And the magic that he was able to create at Blacksburg, Virginia, will probably never be done again. So Fuente's chasing a ghost that's probably not catchable.
No, it's like Nebraska and Michigan again. We got 30 seconds. Ole Miss covers 9.5, yes or no? Mississippi State covers 23, yes or no?
Yes,
just to reiterate. Yes. Boom. I like it.
Yeah.
Mississippi home.
La Tech's not going to be able to score against Mississippi State. Ole Miss will score at will against Louisville.
Who scores the most? Not Matt Corral. Who scores the most touchdowns for Ole Miss?
Outside of Corral.
Yeah, well, he's going to throw, so that doesn't count.
All right, I'll go Ely.
Okay, does Mississippi State score a special teams touchdown?
Yeah.
Okay, there you go. Little fun.
Tulu may break one.
There you go.
They've got that other dude running special teams, too. I can't remember his name off the top of my head. Show is brought to you by the New York-style pizza and wings. It's Sal and Mookie's in Madison. You know, they offer a pizza slice special every day. Pair it with the salad. It's delicious. Big, big slices of New York-style pizza. Sal and Mookie's in Madison, and, of course, Sal and Mookie's in the district at Eastover. Enjoy the weekend. It's game day. Have a great time. We'll be back here on Tuesday at 7 a.m. If you missed anything, we'd love for you to hit Apple Podcast. Search the Out of Bounds Show. Be careful. Enjoy it. College football is here.